Happy Monday, everyone. We are back with Voces Unidas on KROJ 101.5 FM. The show is produced by Valley Views SFE Media and Voces Unidas in Pacoima. Your hosts are Diosi,
Melissa,
and Theodora. And we wanted to get us all started today with a land acknowledgement. Today, we recognize and honor the original occupants and stewards of the land on which we now gather. Many of us joined this gathering from lands that are the traditional home territory of the Fernandino, Tatavi, and Bana Mission Indians. Voces Unidas recognizes and thanks the first people of this ancestral and unceded territory of the Fernandino, Tatavi, and Bana Mission Indians, which is now occupied by the city of LA and residents like ourselves. It is important to honor their elders, past and present, and descendant to our citizens of the Fernandino, Tatavi, and Bana Mission Indians. We recognize that the tribe is still here, and we are committed to uplifting their stories, their culture, and their community. We have known that land acknowledgements are intentional for our community to be able to really acknowledge and recognize and remember that we are on the lands of indigenous peoples, and they continue to be here. This was a land acknowledgement derived directly from the Fernandino, Tatavi, and Bana Mission Indian website. If you'd like to learn how to do an intentional land acknowledgement, learn a bit more about the tribe, please feel free to visit their website.
Without further ado, we're going to talk to our guests here today. We have Zayurit here in Pueblo y Salud and KROJ building. And then joining us also, we have Gus, which is a friend of ours, a friend of the show's, has been on with us before. But Zayurit, can you give a brief bio, let people know who you are, where you're from, and who they're listening to?
Hey, sorry. Oh my God. I'm so nervous. But hi, everyone. My name is Sayurit Gordillo, but I go by the name of Z. I already apologize in advance from being outside and like volunteering in the cold air. I get like sick very easily, so my voice is starting to go away. But thank you for having me. A little bit about me is I'm raised here in the San Fernando Valley, originally born in Oaxaca, Mexico, so I'm a proud DACA recipient. A lot of the work that I do or that I want to focus in doing this year is being a part of my community and helping out in any way that I can, especially with our upcoming president. I feel like growing up in the San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles, we're a community of Latinos, and I've never felt afraid of who I am, but because I am undocumented, people always have that stereotype of like, like don't talk about it, like don't say it, don't tell people. But with this next, upcoming years, 4 years, I think we need to come out of the shadows and, be proud of the community or the minority that we represent. So with that, a lot of the work that I do is I help small businesses, specifically Latino businesses, bridge that gap between their traditional way of running a business and helping them get an audience engagement and growth through social media. So I do some work with the Downtown San Fernando Mall Association in the city of San Fernando, as well as their Chamber of Commerce. And I recently just joined the San Fernando Young Democrats with Theodora, which is an activist group of young activists for the San Fernando Valley. So I'm proud of the work that I'm doing, the community that I'm building, the community that I'm a part of. And I just hope to grow even more, especially right now. I feel like we all need to come together. People say that LA is always like a fast, life-driven city, which it's true.
Yeah.
But what I really love about, unfortunately, the catastrophe that we're going through right now, the positive that we can take out is that we're seeing our neighbors. Like we're seeing volunteers come, like Melissa said. The fact that you have to turn people away, that's insane.
Yeah.
Like that's insane to me. Even from the volunteer work that I was doing with the Midnight Hour and Amigo, people are showing 20 minutes early just to make sure that they can volunteer.
Yeah.
Like you know, like to me, the most precious thing that we have is time. It's the one thing you can't get back.
Yeah.
So for people to be able to offer that, like, I love to see it.
Yeah.
I agree. And thank you so much. And just in advance, like, thank you for the work that you're doing. We've been keeping up with you on social media. And then we're also friends. So we caught up yesterday and just super in awe of like everything that you're doing, the fact that you find the time. Like you said, time is something that you just can't get back. And that's something that you continuously give to your community is the time and the effort that they
I appreciate
like
that.
deserve and that like they don't get from anybody else. And so just thank you.
Thank you. Likewise, vice versa. You know, because even making a show like this, like you know, like a lot of the stuff that we do is volunteer work. We don't get paid for it. So, you know, like it's nice to have people that you know that are reaching out or like being there for your community.
Thank you.
So thank you guys too.
Of course. And then with that, we're going to take a quick musical break. Please enjoy this beautiful playlist that was put together by Alex Infinity. This playlist, if you like the music in the background, it is on Spotify. It's called Locals Only, Las Comadres. And again, it was made by Alex Infinity, and you can find all types of local San Fernando Valley-based artists in this playlist. And so we'll be right back, y'all. We're back. You guys are tuned in to Voces Unidas on KROJ 101.5 FM. And you guys are listening to the voices of Diosi,
Melissa?
And Theodora.
and it's a lovely Monday. We just introduced our guests for the day, for the evening. We have Zayurit and Gus. Zayurit let us know a little bit about herself before we went on break. And Gus, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about yourselves?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like Z, actually, maybe even a little bit more recent. I just joined the Young Democrats as well. I'm pretty involved in the community, especially lately with the fires and everything that we'll go over. But I also want to give a big shout out to Z because pretty much all my involvement has kind of like related back to her. I know we were worried about a lot of the immigration checkpoint posts that have been going around. So we actually been in contact and going out to these sites ourselves.
Yeah, you guys. And I just want to say, like, people have been, like, messaging me like crazy now anytime they hear about ICE checkpoints or anything like that. And Gus has gone out of his way to, like, confirm these sightings. So I just want to give a big shout out to him because not everyone is willing to be an ally, you know, like people say, hey, you know, like I'll help, but to actually go out there and like do it yourself, our community is very grateful for people like you.
Yeah, Gus.
No, I had an experience this week with Gus where I reached out to, actually I've been reaching out to Gus quite a bit, just to ask about these same questions that we've been hearing in the community, these potential sightings, and Gus has been a huge help of source to either confirm or not these sightings, and to go that step further and try to use his resources to get more information. And so, but yeah, Gus, go ahead and continue letting us know a little bit of like the work that you've done or you're doing.
I mean, at least with what's going on now, just volunteering, like again I was at Midnight Hour yesterday. I was at in North Hollywood with Z. There were so many people there. Like they were turning people away. I had got there like I think an hour after it started, and like 30 minutes later they were already turning people away. But yeah, that's pretty much been it. I mean, lately has been dealing with a lot of this. I've been like Z said, like kind of just driving around just to make sure with in terms of where power outages are. Same thing with the checkpoints, and because that's been a big thing, because I mean we don't want people to be scared to go out to the grocery store, especially in this times where like they need to go out and get resources, or even to go to evacuation centers to get food. So so that's been something like really important to me like lately.
No, of course. So of course, thank you so much for explaining that, but So sorry, guys, if you guys are hearing a little bit of a transition here, but but Zayuri, I wanted to come back to you, and I wanted to get to know you a little bit better. I wanted our listeners to have a little more of an idea of what your vision is here in the city of San Fernando. I know that you've grown up here, and you have your ties are here, and so can you speak a little bit about why you're so passionate about immigration? We heard that you're a DACA recipient, but can you speak a little bit about your activism behind that and how that ties into the work that you're doing?
So for me, the work that I'm doing and the work that I want to continue to do is to make everything, I guess, accessible but relatable. And the best way that I find that is through photos. You know, like we live in an era where social media, if you're not a part of it, you know, like you're kind of out of the mix. But for those who are or who have any, it's the fastest way to learn anything or to, you know, stay in touch. So for me, the work that I do is with small businesses, and I just, you know, like I just want them to grow. But being raised specifically here in San Fernando, the mission statement for the San Fernando Mall is where history meets culture. So to me, like, to them it might be a mission statement, but honestly to me it ties everything together, you know. And not just in San Fernando but cities across, you know, California, the US. And the one thing that we should always try to preserve is our culture. We've seen so many cities like, you know, Echo Park, Silver Lake being transformed because of gentrification, and, you know, small business owners, Latino business owners being kicked out or replaced.
Yeah.
So I want change in San Fernando. I want change in the San Fernando Valley, but I don't want us to be at the, you know, at the cost of all of that.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm trying to figure out how we can still have, you know, mom and pop shops who are from the valley versus bringing in corporations. You know, San Fernando is such a hard city to have a business be a part of us, but actually stay there. You know, so many of them, they open up shop and within like 2-3 years they're gone. So what can we do to help those businesses succeed? You know, and for me, the least I can do is a shop small. And like, if you guys follow me on IG, like I care where my money goes.
Yeah.
You know, like if I can make an impact, like I'm gonna use my money to make that impact, you know.
Yeah.
So like even for the holidays, go ahead.
That's actually how I first got to know you, was on Instagram. I know my sister DOC knew you before, but I had seen like an Instagram post you made of a coffee shop. It was a brand new one in, I believe NoHo area.
Oh yeah, La
And-
Roche.
Yes, yes, and it was so well put together. It was right at the brink of us entering the new board with the San Fernando Valley Young Dems, and it really just everything that you've produced on your socials and checking that out, I was like, we were super impressed
I
because
appreciate
you
it.
bring this, you bring the person, the POV into your art, your work, and that's just like, it's just like I testament to that, because that's how I got introduced to you as well on social media.
Thank you. And honestly, oftentimes the stuff that we promote, like
Yeah.
us individuals, is just like those hidden gems throughout, you know, the valley. Like everyone, I know every single one of you guys has like that go-to restaurant.
Yeah.
You know, so like it doesn't hurt to post a picture, you know, to help these small businesses get one more client for them can be a
Right.
game changer.
Yes.
So like I always, you know, I shoot for people to shop small, do your part, you know, like $5, $10 that you spend at a small business, they'll notice that. All these big corporations, to them it's just another buck, but to these
Another
small
number.
businesses, yeah, they're not. You can literally change someone's life if you go out and eat with your whole family. You know,
Exactly.
like So just like it kind of also goes back to and not to get too political, but like even with voting, right?
Yeah.
Like
political.
that's I know like
You can do it.
That's a big part of like our segment as well, as bringing in the community perspective of policy, of politics.
See,
So
and-
it is
yeah.
political. Everything that we do is very
And
much.
honestly, everything you do, especially in today's day and age, it is political. You know, like whether you don't want to be a part of it or not, you live in a country that is, you know, a democratic country. Democracy is our history.
Yeah.
You know, I always tell people, like, what do Mexicanos have, right? You know, we have cultura, we have food. As an American, I consider myself an American. I might not be because of a birth certificate, because of a piece of paper. But I believe, like, as an American, your privilege is to vote. You know, so, like, I find it very, like, ignorant for someone to say, my vote doesn't matter. Because that's the one thing that matters in this country. And
Yeah.
if you have the power to do it, like, why aren't you doing it?
Yeah. And like so many people in this country like don't have the right to vote. Like a lot of people who are like incarcerated don't have the right to vote. A lot of people who are obviously undocumented don't have the right to vote. And so I think that's super important. And especially like you can always vote with your dollar. Like that's a huge thing. And even with the fires that we're enduring right now, like this is very much tied to climate change, to the fact that the world is warming. We have surpassed the 1.5 Celsius of warming over the globe. And so, like, these disasters, like these man-made disasters, right? Because we can call them natural disasters, but, like, there's nothing natural about it, right? Like, these things are exacerbated because of where we're putting in our money. And, like, these giant corporations are using a lot of fossil fuels too. And so if we're able to really connect with like our local businesses and shop locally and make sure that we're like connecting with our local businesses and asking where they're sourcing their material too, and like really opening up conversations within our communities, it will really allow us to know like what's going on with the dollar that we're spending too, because like it's so important.
And that was something that we were tracking as well during the election cycle, was Proposition 4, which is now the climate bond that got voted in. And you think about when we're having these on-ground responses, like where does that funding come from? How does every dollar in even our government get spent to be able to help produce the first responses from fighting the fires?
And the crazy part is, like, right now, they are helping, but the first responders who were out there were us.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Community.
Those small businesses. So it's like we know where our money is going, and it's coming right back to us because the people at the volunteer site with Amigo, like, we weren't purchasing food. People were coming and delivering food. Like, do you guys need, food for volunteers? Do you guys need water? Do you guys need this? They're looking for a warehouse. The community is providing that.
Yeah.
So it's a time to really open up and see what's going on, where our money is going, where our taxes are going.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I truly believe that change is going to happen.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not, it's coming.
Yeah.
But from what we can take from everything that's happening right now is that we can work together as a community, because we're seeing it. And it's
Yeah.
across not just California. Like, we might be the ones who are being affected by the fires, but people are, behind us. People from New York, from Chicago. People are
Yeah.
coming. Some girl reached out to me from Vegas on Instagram. Oh, wow. And she was like, if you guys need volunteers, I'll book a hotel and like I'll go. And I'm like, these are people who do not know us.
Yeah.
We have no ties, we have
Yeah.
no relationship, and for her to go out of her way and
Yeah.
drive down.
No, and our show for the next for this segment we're on right now for 3 months, we're talking about community and culture. And so I wanted to ask you yourself, you are a creative. Gus, you're a creative as well. Our connection happened through photography, and you're a photographer. You've done a lot of work in the community as well, documenting just the last couple of months, I feel. And so I really want to ask you guys, what role do you guys think that creative expression and entrepreneurship play in addressing social issues in the community? So, like, whoever wants to go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think creative expression is a lot, especially with coping with what's going on. Like Mel was talking about earlier, how you craft, and that's something that you do. And I know it might laugh, but it's like, if that's what you like to do to get your mind off of things, then do it. You know, like, do whatever it is that, you know, whether it's creatively like that. Some people like take photos, some people make music, some people do, you know, whatever it is that gets your mind off of this, because it is really draining. And I know we want to do what we can to, like, for instance, I'm checking Instagram stories and, you know, keeping in touch with people who are involved in doing things. But for time too, like, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Take a little bit to yourself to, you know, kind of regroup even for yourself. Because if you're not at your full, you know, then how are you going to be able to help people? If you're not taking care of yourself.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and that was something that Gus actually did, because it's been a long week, like overall, and Gus had texted me like, "Hey, just checking in," because it was a day where we got a lot of concerns. It was this past Thursday. We got a lot of concerns about ICE being in the community, and when Gus had texted me, it was probably around 7. I don't remember. I think it was probably like later evening, like 7 p.m. And when I got that text message, I took a second. I just like I took a deep breath, and I was like, wait, my eyes burn. Like my eyes hurt. Like it's been constant work. Like it's because of this is such a crisis moment. It's sometimes hard to take care of yourself when you're on the ground. You're also responding, and I really appreciate that message, because it was also the night that you're able the Voces collaborated with Panda, and my way of relaxing was coming here, enjoying time with you all in community, and listening and just tuning in and being present. And to me, like, that was just a step away from you know, just it was just relaxing for me, and that was the way I was able to find my break before, you know, we continue to see the fires increase.
And sometimes even those moments of like what a break would look like in a time like this crisis is probably gonna look like, you know, you said, taking a couple of breathers, finding something outside of your own work that you could participate in or support. And I know that that's been my experience as well, you know. Even, you know, stepping into that special segment that we had with Congresswoman Luz Rivas, with Hector and Valley Views, that was, you know, an extra segment that we weren't planning on, but it was, for myself, that is a way of being able to express myself creatively. And so with that, I wanted to come back to Zayurit and ask you, you know, like, with the work that you do on social media, a lot of it is your creative expression. And so I kind of wanted to get into that conversation of like your creative expression and your advocacy, and how you're using both to drive your vision forward. And that's where this question was really coming from. And again, I'll ask the question again. What role do you see that creative expression and entrepreneurship play in addressing social issues in the community?
I think I'll just go back to like being able to relate to others. You know, I think I'm turning 29 in March, and I've always been aware of politics, you know, especially because I feel like sometimes you don't care about things until you're directly impacted. And it sucks that it should be like that, but that's just the truth of it. But I've never felt safe enough to express how I feel, or sometimes you can't even find the right words to say how you feel. So I feel like the easiest thing for me has always been pictures, you know, like I rave about like romanticize your life.
Right.
You know, like
totally.
like when people say, "Oh, you're not the main character," be the main character. This is your life. You are your own main character, you know? And for me, like I want to bring people together, or I want to meet people that are okay with, you know, expressing their feelings, whether it's through art, through music. I've met so many people within these past 6 months through community, and it's in, you know, different aspects. I have a friend that she draws, and she has her own like brand label, Deo Worldwide, but her brand is all about, you know, like she doesn't she doesn't support borders.
Daya Worldwide
yeah.
just, it's like le está sonando los oídos because she just joined the
She
live.
just joined. well, Aseneb Martinez, she's the creator and founder of Daya Worldwide. And basically, and I hope I'm explaining this right if you're listening, she creates dolls that don't mess with borders, you know? And just to me, it's like, how do people, you know, like when you get lost in what you're doing, that's where the real passion comes out, you know? Like, we have to work for a living, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But when you can combine passion and work, like, I think that's that's the most beautiful thing. And I think that's why these organizations like Amigo, like, they do so well, because on top of everything is just passion.
Yeah.
You know, it's wanting to help community. And I think that's why even voices like you guys are highlighted right now, because you could be somewhere else, you know, but you guys take the time to create shows like this where guests like myself can feel even more empowered to keep doing the work that we're doing. So I just being able to find safe spaces within your community is so essential right now. But yeah, so I want to bring people closer through,
Thank
you know, through reels. As young adults, I think it's scary sometimes starting something new, especially
Big
with
time.
politics.
Yeah.
So, like, I want people to feel like, you know what, I might not know what I'm talking about, but she's okay with me showing
Yes.
up.
Yes.
You know, and
Oh,
I hope
that's sweet.
to add that type of mentality even to the young Dems, because you need safe spaces to feel like even if you make a mistake, like, we won't punish you. It's the process of growing. It's the process of learning.
Yes.
Totally.
No,
It's
definitely.
Yeah, it's like kind of where it's like calling in and calling out and like always growing. And I think when you're coming, and this has definitely been like my own experience of like when you're coming from like a place of authenticity and like deep roots in like whatever community or like I don't know, just like wholeheartedness that you're coming from. It's like when you enter into like this political field of, you know, there's a lot of ruthlessness that comes with it as well. But when you're coming into it with that authenticity, like, it becomes a lot easier to be able to like stay true to like your own intentions and your own morals, because, you know, you're coming into it already knowing yourself. You're not kind of going into it being like, oh, like, what does this mean? You're like, no, like, I know what it means to like be good and like have this like idea of like morality and like being able to like have empathy for people, right?
Especially in politics.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
I feel like we're going more into like looking at the country as a business versus, you know, like a government, you know, like, so to me, it's like, I just, you know, like, I want people to feel space to try new things in politics, because we're all so clever. We all work so well together as a community, and we're seeing it right now. So my thing is, it's like, let's just not do this for the time being. Let's figure out a way to make it a movement. You know, like you said, Melissa, like, people are showing up right now and we're turning them away. But what about 3 months from now? What about 6 months from now? This is not going to be something that gets resolved in a year, 2 years. Like, how do we work together? But how do we also get people to want to work with us?
And on that note, we're going to go ahead and take a quick musical break. And when we come back, we're going to wrap up our segment with Sayurit. And we're going to wrap up our segment here with Gus. And we're going to come back on with our second segment. Sayurit will stick around, but we're going to be bringing on JP Murals and some folks from Amigo. And so we're really looking forward to you guys hearing from them. But stick around. Enjoy the playlist that Alex Infinity has curated for us. Again, this playlist is on Spotify under Locals Only, Las Comadres. And we'll be right back, y'all. Just a quick little break here. You're on KROJ 101.5 FM with Voces Unidas. Hello, everyone. We are back. This song that you guys are listening to right now is called A Dream Worth Dying For by Alex Infinity. one of our special hosts here at Voces Unidas. And we're very glad to have them. They do a lot of wonderful work for us, but one of those things that they've done for us is curate this playlist that you guys have been hearing and you guys hear whenever we're on air, which is a playlist of local artists here in the San Fernando Valley. And so if you guys like the song, you guys can check it out on Spotify, Las Comadres Locals Only. And with that being said, Zayurit, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been such a lovely evening. You're not going anywhere, but we are going to bring some folks in. I wanted to give you the opportunity to kind of just wrap up the segment. If you have any calls to action, anything that you want to put out for community to either check out, get involved with, or just any message that you have for folks, now would be a great time to do that.
Not much, but just, show up when you can, but show up for yourself too.
Mm-hmm.
I think we might get lost in the essence of wanting to help too.
Mm-hmm.
But like Gus said, you can't help anyone if you can't help yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So just check in with yourself, check in with your mental health, do things for you. I know social media is really active right now, but don't forget, you can still show your art. Yes, share those resources, share those updates, but keep showing up for yourself too. Because a lot of people are still content creators. They still gotta work.
Yeah.
Same thing as small businesses. We still gotta work. So don't forget about them. Support them, support your community. Yeah.
Thank you. Gus?
Oh.
I wanted to hit that point of mental health too, but we already got it. I did want to bring up something that is happening tomorrow, if I could. It's meal distribution. So in Arleta, Osborne Neighborhood Church, it's 13501 Osborne Street in Arleta, California, 91331. And McDonald's will be there, and they're going to be providing hot meals for the next 2 days. It will start, if you want to volunteer, I'm going to be there at 8. It's going to start at 8. And then 8:30 is when the distribution starts. And it ends at 3:30. And that's for the next 2 days. I think it might be extending, but for sure right now it's the next 2 days.
Okay, wonderful. And then Melissa, Theo, is there anything that you guys would like to say just to close off this part of the segment?
No, yeah, just the conversations we're having today really just bring me back to when we got COVID and the lack of opportunity, how we were stuck at home. We were in our own rooms wanting to help and using social media to really drive folks to know where to get their testing done, where to get their free N95 masks. But the beauty of seeing it in person again and being able to help each other hand to hand has just been really inspiring, and I'm really grateful for both of you all coming to share your stories of your experiences in this time of crises. And it's like the first time in history of the California and Los Angeles that we're experiencing this. So we are living again in times of dire need, and just really grateful for you all. But that's just, I just want to tap that in there because it's a really different experience, but still the solidarity, the strength in community continues to shine.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also just to continue, to create space for empathy, to show your neighbors that you're there and you're listening.
I just want to remind everybody that you're tuned in to KROJ 101.5 FM. We're coming to you live from our studios here at Pueblo y Salud in the city of San Fernando. It is 8 p.m. and we're about to jump into the second part of our segment. You guys are tuned in with Voces Unidas, and we are wrapping up right here with Zayurit, and Gus and Melissa was just giving us her thoughts.
Yeah, just wrapping up that I just think we, as a community, we're leading with empathy and understanding, and just exactly what everybody was saying is we're able to be with each other in person and to focus on community, but then also spend time with yourself and being able to process everything that's been going on, because it's hard. So
It is.
yeah.
Thank you. And then if people want to tap in with you, Z, I know you're not going anywhere right now, but in case people do want to tap in with you, where can they find you? And yeah, where can they find you?
So you guys can find me on Instagram. It's probably the easiest way to reach me, at Vida by Z. So it's VIDAXZEE. And I'm here, to lend a hand or to be an ear to listen. So, I'm here for my community. I'm here for you guys. So what do you guys need? I can make it happen.
Awesome. What about you, Gus? Where can community find you?
I guess my Instagram too, GVBruin24.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I've been posting lately a bunch of updates from everything related to the fire, from the immigration side to the relief side. So yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much. We'll be right back with the second part of our segment. Again, you guys are tuned in to Voces Unidas. This is the voice of Diosi.
Melissa.
And Theodora.
And you guys were just listening to Zayurit and Gus, and they are signing off now.